Hey guys, my guest today is a pragmatic, clear-thinking, creative, outcome-focused fitness influencer. Along with his graduate degree, he continues to build on his successful 25-year track record in administration, motivational speaking, wellness training, and fitness training, as well as management, planning, and consulting. His solid reputation for driving a strategic vision and creating long-term value is what made me want to bring him to you today. Welcome to the show, Nate Wilkins.
Hey, Mike, thanks so much. Hey, man, listen, that was a fantastic introduction. You know, that was probably as good as the one that I did for myself about 3 or 4 years ago. And I learned how to continue to do that because I needed to have a hype man, but you're good.
Yeah, I could be your hype man. Let's go on the road together.
We should do that.
We got to get through this pandemic so we can get you on the stage more.
Oh my God, listen, I am finding myself on a stage. I've actually created a stage right through Zoom. And so, pivoting and actually using Zoom and creating new opportunities through creating stages or actually finding FaceTime or other opportunities to get to people. That's what I've done. But I understand what you're saying. Let's get out on and live in front of people.
Well, yeah, you're a public speaker. You've had a lot of success on the stage, and that's where some people learn about you or meet you for the first time when they're seeing you up on the stage talking about fitness and motivational speaking, right? And people, you guys can check out, and I call him Nate Wilkins as a friend, but Nathaniel O. Wilkins is his full name. You guys can go check him out on LinkedIn, but realize that spells N-O-W. That's why he throws that N and that O in there, right?
Absolutely. So what we've tried to do is use that across the board, right? Not only is it my initials, but what we're talking about is how do we make things happen? And if we wait around, right, we'll just, sort of procrastinate and we won't do it. And then one thing you see is a second is gone and a minute is gone and a day is gone and you won't have done it. So why don't we focus on getting stuff down? Why don't we live right now? Why don't we live in the moment?
Yeah, live in the moment, be present, and then also you don't like to add time to a decision. If it's something with a fitness goal, I'm going to wait till next Monday. Or we just had Labor Day. As we record this, Labor Day was yesterday. No, this won't come out for a few weeks, but people might say, I'm going to wait until Monday. And now means only start to get going now. I mean, if you think you're going to wait one more week, you might wait one more year.
Absolutely. So that's one of the things that we try to encourage people to do. Say, if you wake up in the morning and you are going to work out, put the shoes beside the bed, get the clothes ready, and get out now. Get out the bed now. Do something right now. Just don't wait. It takes too long, and you'll decide not to. You'll hit the snooze button.
Yeah. So, guys, you can check out Nate. Again, Nathaniel O. Wilkins. His website is agelessworkout.com, and also on IG, it's Ageless Workout Tribe, right?
Absolutely.
One for you. Ageless Workout Tribe. He has a few books out now on Amazon. You can check out The Now Factors for Success, Beyond the Now Factors, and Success Factors Now. So those three are available on Amazon. What I'd like to start off with here on the show today is have you sharing your passion and your philosophy, which is a word I saw you use on your website to describe your fitness philosophy. Can you share that with us? And then where did this all begin? When did you know you're going to take it to the next level?
So let me just talk about passion, right? Because what I really mean is that helping other people. So when you take your eye off of yourself and help somebody else, then you actually get as much as you give, or probably even more. So really what I'm saying is that I'm a little bit selfish because I'm looking to help me, and I'm looking to actually grow and learn as much about myself, and throughout helping somebody else, then I get something, right?
I'll say too, like you can't help other people. A lot of times the mentality is helping other people, which is great. But until you kind of have yourself figured out, it's almost like falling in love, right? Until you love yourself, how do you give someone else true love?
Oh, yeah, now that's true. I mean, you got to learn, first of all, you got to learn how to love yourself. And so throughout throughout the process when I'm working with people at different levels, I'm learning to love me because I'm learning some things about them. I'll give you a prime example. I work with a young lady who has special needs, and she actually told me not to hold back on her. And I didn't even realize that I was actually holding back and not giving her my all. She wanted me to allow her to fall down. She wanted me to allow her to try some new things. But because I saw her as special needs, I didn't give her my everything. So that's what I'm talking about, is learning and giving to somebody else, and they give back to you. Sort of sowing in somebody else's life so that they could sow into your life. So, that's where this whole thing came from. But let me take a step back, because you asked me some other questions. Through the inspiration, the desperation, I lost a job. I had some illness, and sometimes that's what makes people move, right? I lost a job. What's so funny is that the guy, now it's funny, the guy who was a city manager at the time called me up into his office. He said, "Hey, Nate, you got two choices." He said, you could resign or be terminated." Mike, knowing me, you probably know that I didn't take the first one, right? I said, I'm not gonna pick up the gun and shoot myself. You got to do it for me. He thought I was gonna select the other one, but that's the kind of stuff that I'm trying to say today, is that it's all about mental toughness, right? It's all about making some decisions about where you are and who you are and where do you stand, getting to know yourself, and that took some guts. And so I'm talking about courage, and I'm talking about believing in yourself and doing what you think is right for you, because your first mind will always lead you to the right place. And so this thing that I'm talking about is this ageless mindset, the mindset that at some point you decide that you're going to do what's in your best interest, that you're not going to live for somebody else, that you're going to live the life that you decided to live. So that's another part of the ageless mindset. Living life like you want to, not existing, but living like you want to, trying some new things and doing some stuff that you like to do. Listen, Mike, I'm in the race to 100. I'm doing everything I can to live to be 100. I might not get there, but I'm definitely going to give it my best shot.
Well, I'll say the combination of your work ethic, fitness programs, taking care of yourself daily, and the fact of the science that we have today, I think the math is not that crazy that it's a possibility. I mean, we all don't know our end date. That's what makes life both exciting and really scary for a lot of people, because people worry about passing away, and it's understandable. But if you live in fear every day, you're going to be kind of turtled up, opposed to living and pushing out, right? And just knowing, hey, I don't know when this thing is going to end, but I could give today my best, right? And I know you're doing that. Another guy, I actually had him, his show came out yesterday. I don't know if you know Dan Williams, but you got to connect with Dan Williams.
I'd love to.
A New Heart for Life is his, the name of the episode, but also his program he has, because at 62 years old, he had open heart surgery. He was going in for a stent procedure. They said, dude, we need to operate, man. This thing is worse than just a little procedure. 5 days on the table, they kept him open because he had a lot of complications. He wasn't in good health going in. He walked out of there 5 months later, whatever it was later, quite a bit of time later. And he said that's when he had the moment where he reevaluated his fitness. And then later on, he goes on to win some gold medals in track.
Absolutely.
In his 60s, like he got his act together in his 60s. So there is this ageless thing where his mentality wasn't that he was 65 years old once he started winning gold medals. It was the fact that he knew he could do it, and that was his level of achievement. Like, he wasn't just like happy to be sitting on the couch. Now, he was grateful to be alive, but that doesn't mean that he had other things he wanted to go for. There's no age to having passion.
Absolutely. Mike would love to hook up with him. It sounds like an exciting story.
You with Dan Williams. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. So here's the other thing too. You have a personal brand. So many people that are diving into the show here are entrepreneurs, people that are either branding themselves or a company. Can you talk about how you've branded yourself over time?
Well, here's what I figured is that while we have this brand of the Ageless Workout, but Nate Wilkins is a brand in and of itself. I mean, it's the way that I've chosen to live my life. It's the things that I actually have to say. It's the people that I want to associate with. It's the sharing. It's the caring that I wanna allow myself to give to not only what I call the ageless tribe, but let me define what that is. It's actually a way of looking at life, right? And so all of that is encompassed in who I've become and who I'm becoming. And so what I wanted to do, or what I'm attempting to do, is hold myself up into a mirror and look at me and start to chip away at what those things are that I don't like and add those things in that I do like. And I'm inviting people to be a part of the journey. I'm not looking for everybody. I'm looking for the 3 and 10 who want to do that kind of thing and say,
Sure.
hey, Nate, if Nate Wilkins can do it, knowing where he came from, public housing, losing jobs, having heart attacks, not knowing which direction to go, man, if he can do that, I know I can do it. So that's how this thing evolves.
Mm-hmm. So overcoming adversity is something you're not, you don't shy away from, right? So you lost your job, you were terminated. You mentioned heart attacks. That's news to me.
Yeah, man. I was working for the Cincinnati Recreation Commission.
Yeah.
And I had some pains in my chest, and I have sense enough to know that if you got some pains in your chest, you need to go to the emergency room or to the doctor. I went, they kept me. And what I found out was they had me in the ICU. They said, well, you're having what they said, mini heart attacks, and we don't know where it's coming from. And I kept me there for weeks at a time. The staff that were working for me came by looking sad. They had the word. Somebody said, well, he may not make it. And I got that word. And then I said to myself while I was lying there in that bed, I said, man, if I ever get out of here, I'm changing. I'm going to change everything. I'm not going to go to those dinners like I go to, drinking with my friends, hanging out and doing all those things. You know what I'm talking about, really trying to live life, living large, so to speak, is what they called it. And so as soon as I got out of there, they gave me an appointment to see a cardiologist. I went one time, but after that, I said, I'm going walking, I'm changing how I eat, I'm changing how I sleep, I'm changing all of that stuff. So I'm not telling anybody that I've lived this whole life and I didn't enjoy myself. What I'm saying is that at some point I made a decision that I needed to change, and that was it. And I'm still working on who I am. Don't watch me too close because I may deviate from the plan. But for the most part, if I fall off, I'm going to get back on. And so let me go back and tell you, Mike, the kind of person that I'm trying to encourage people to be, and the kind that I see myself as, is if you knock me down, I'm going to bite you around your ankles to get back up, because I'm going to win. I'm going to win. I'm in it to win it. Yeah. No matter what it takes. I don't care how many jobs I have to lose. I don't care how many people that don't like me, because whatever they think about me is none of my business. I care about what I'm going to do, because when I get to the place, and I'm not trying to be religious or anything like that. When I get to the place and the creator says to me, Nate, I gave you X, Y, Z, and what'd you do with it? I want to be able to tell the story about what I've done with a limited amount of talent and skills that the creator gave to me.
Man, I'm not looking to shy away from that at all. I talk about that quite a bit on my show, and whether you're religious or believe in God or the universe or whoever's listening to this, whatever your thing is, you got to believe in something. I mean, the story is you're alive right now. If you're listening to my show, my guess is you have a heartbeat. You have a heartbeat and you can do something with it. My question is to you, and what Nate just said is, we internalize it. So I do it for myself with my show and my business. He does it with himself, with his fitness clients and his personal brand. Ask yourself, what, with the talents that you have, not everybody is extremely physically gifted. Not everybody is has creativity, and they're gifted in that way, right? What is the thing that you can serve the world, right? And then figure out how you can go and do that. And that's what you've done. And that's what I'm doing. I'm working on doing that every single day. And that's what gets me excited having these conversations, because, we don't want to get to the creator and he says, I gave you X, Y, and Z, like you said, these talents, and what did you do with it? We want him to look at us and say, in a prideful way, thank you very much, good and faithful servant, right?
Mm-hmm. Well done. Well done.
Well done.
Hey, listen, I can attest to what you're talking about, because I've checked you out. I looked at all of the stuff that you do. As a matter of fact, I'm so impressed. I want to talk off record about, helping me with some of the digital stuff and the video stuff that I'm doing. So it sounds to me like, or it looks to me like you got all the pieces together to help people move from one place to the other. Even if they don't believe in themselves, you got the tools that can help them do it. And so I'm interested in doing that. I'm trying to give you a promo for people who
I appreciate it.
But I do think that I want to work with you.
No, my man, that's what it's all about. Like, when I see someone, I always figure out where I see them in their highest version of themselves, right? Because everyone has.
Thank you so much.
You don't always meet someone at their end game, and the end game is kind of something we always strive for, and it's very rarely that someone's going to be in it for a long period of time. Whether it's an athlete that has a Pro Bowl season, how often do they have 12 Pro Bowl seasons? But think about your own life as a Pro Bowl. Like, what does it take you as a husband, as a father, as a son, as an employee? If you're listening to this and you're working within an organization, maybe you're the leader of an organization, whoever you are, wherever you're at, internalize it, what you can do to make a difference with the people around you, and just figure out like what your I call it superpowers. Like, some people are great connectors and they really bring great people together. Others are great in front of people on a stage. They're just, anyone that's listening, we encourage you to find your superpower and just use it for the greater good of the world, because we're living in a time when everyone wants division. I'm saying everyone very loosely here, is like, there's a lot of division going on. You say something you believe in on social media, you're going to have 50% of the people shooting you down and 50% of the people like you. It seems like there's this great divide. So rather than use our voice to divide, let's use our voice to unite and to do the things that we're passionate about that can help people out. If you love baseball, then figure out how that can help people get together, unite. It's a great thing. You got kids that you can inspire to play a great game. America's one of our pastimes that we built this country on, right?
Absolutely.
And, what we can learn a lot from that. So, that's why I was so excited to have you on the show, because I knew that you took a lot of your story and your adversities that you continued to overcome, and you turned it into this program to help other people out. Because you didn't want it to just be, hey, I helped out Nate, and that's your story, whoop-de-doo, right? I mean, that would have been good, but...
So what? Anybody can do that. Anybody can help themselves.
Yeah.
But you need to be your own rescue, but can you help somebody else?
Yeah.
Can you take it out of yourself long enough to help somebody else? And so I do it with, I have clients who have had strokes, or clients who have special needs, clients who are struggling with their mental health. And man, now is the time when mental health, we need to talk about mental health, because people are social distancing like never before. And they have cabin fever, and they get in discussions, I don't want to call it arguments, but discussions with loved ones and what have you, and they explode. So they need outlets. I encourage people to get outside and do some stuff, get some sunshine, get up early in the morning, get some sunshine. So Parkinson's, anything you could think of, I'm trying to help those people turn the corner. And at the same time, when I see them turn the corner, I walk just a little bit taller. But let me just quickly say that what I'm attempting to do is take every nickel, every quarter, every penny that I have, pour it back into the business that I have. It's a business that I'm trying to create. I'm looking to touch people all over the globe. Or what I'm trying to talk about is building an earth business, right? That anybody anywhere who can buy into, who can believe this story about Nate Wilkins, the story about being ageist, I want you to tap in and be a part of that and borrow. If you have to hold on just a little bit to believe in yourself, hold on. But the last thing I would say is that you need to stand up and do something for yourself and believe in yourself.
Yeah. What I want to do too is you're spot on. I mean, as we record this, we're still technically in a version of the quarantine. Hopefully it's more towards the end of it. We got some sports going on. The football season's around the corner as we're recording, and people are, I think, finally getting some of their outlets back for some of their, like, you shouldn't live just to watch football. I think I love football. You can see it behind me here. But if that's the only thing that brings you happiness, I think you got to reevaluate what else is going on in your life. That being said, people do need some outlets of a little bit of distraction in a really difficult year. 2020 has been a heck of a year in many ways. So if someone's cooped up right now, they're listening to this, maybe they're stressed out, they're just ready to blow a gasket here. What are some things that are like in you have the 3 books, Now Factors for Success, Beyond the Now, and then Success Factors Now, all 3 of those. What are some of your takeaways that you can help us kind of use to prescribe where people are at in 2020?
Well, let me just tell you that I wrote those books because I wanted to get out of my head what I was
Put it out.
thinking during the time. So it's a series of books, right? At one point, it was one book, and I revised it into 3 different books, right? And so I want to be clear that I was talking about what does it take to be successful, the challenges that I face. Man, you can look in there and say, oh my God, and don't feel sorry for me because I had some opportunities to really excel. So what I talk about in some of that is picking your friends wisely, right? Sometimes we don't pick the people in our lives. We get misdirected. We want to be like somebody else. And in fact, really what you ought to do is be like yourself, right? How to spend your money, prioritizing, believing, working out and actually believing that you can achieve what it is that you have in mind. When you look in the mirror, you might see one thing, but if you keep it up, it changes into something else. So sort of going back and just sort of taking a look at your life and examining what your life is and understanding that is your life, right? But it doesn't have to continue to be your life. You can add some new stuff into your life, adventure and travel, right? Taking care of family. I mean, these are the kinds of things that I'm talking about. And the reason why I talk about it is because I was so busy trying to build a career that I didn't have a chance, or I didn't take the chance to build my life. And so I looked around, and at some point, Mike, my son had graduated from high school. My daughter had graduated from high school. My other son, because I have 3 of them, 3 children, they graduated, and some of them went to college. And I scratched my head and I said, well, I missed all of that because I was so busy out here trying to what I thought was creating a future for them. And they didn't necessarily want all of that. What they wanted was some time. So you find that in the book that you really need to talk and look at what are the real priorities. Because when you get to the end of life, and I've had a chance to watch some people who passed on, it's not all the stuff. It's not the cars. It's not, it's not the clothes. It's not the relationships with, celebrities and what have you that they wanted to, they wanted to have some more time with their family. They wanted to have some more time in the universe to do the things that matter the most. So that's the kind of stuff that you can find in the book. So the other thing that I will share with you is that I'm actually doing some more writing, because that's the other thing I would encourage people to do is use this time wisely. Because I'm actually going to come out with a whole series of other books around, the ageless workout. What is the ageless workout? Bloopers and blunders of fitness, and stepping out of the matrix. And did you see that? This one will be a funny book where you see people who are working out in workout clothes, but then go to a fast food or go to an all-you-can-eat restaurant and eat like there's no tomorrow. Or you see people up and down the street doing exercises that they're doing them wrong, or you see them have a piece of equipment fall on them because they didn't get help or something like that. So that's what that one's going to be all about. So I got all these different ideas. I'm trying to be creative in this time. I would encourage people to be creative with whatever they have. I hope that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I like, I like that you are very vulnerable here in the interview, and that you're being real. You mentioned, you're passionate about pushing forward for your family, for your 3 children. And at times, you reflect on the fact that, there is no replacement for that quality time with your family. I have a beautiful 5-year-old daughter. I've been more mindful to spend time with her now, because people like yourself and a lot of friends that have successful businesses remind me, like, Mike, you're not going to get those moments back, right? So you need to make sure you're doing that is at the same level that you put your time and energy into your business and into your podcast. And I've already known that. I'm very we have a great relationship, my daughter and I, but it's just, I know, like, as she takes on sports or whatever, or she's playing an instrument later on, and she's got all these things going on. part of the reason that I'm hustling as an entrepreneur is to be able to have the freedom. I call it financial freedom, but that also, all we are looking for at the end of the day is time. If you don't have time,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what we talk about, the guy who's laying on the bed saying, my time is up. I didn't care if I had an extra Lambo, but I would care if I get to spend one more family vacation with my entire family, my children and spouse, right? That's what someone would
Mm-hmm.
say, give me that. I need one more of those would be great, right? So what I'm saying is looking back and just realizing like how we can make sure that we're present in those moments with our family as well as we are. And so you sharing that with me, I think is great because it shows how much you're putting into your business, but how important your family is to what you're doing. And then something you said, I don't want it to slip through here. You're helping people out that are not, your traditional, looking to get a little more buff, lean down, whatever their body frame is, a specific person. I mean, you mentioned someone that had special needs, someone who, was not in a great fitness shape. And so that inspires me that you're not only willing to help those people, but people that are, maybe have a higher mountain to climb are pushing forward. Like you mentioned someone with special needs. It said, don't put the floaties on me. I want to go. I need to swim myself, right? And if I fall, I
Right.
fall down. Whoever that was, that I wish I could talk to him, because that just inspires me so much when someone
I'll
like
be glad to put you in touch with Skylar.
Skylar,
You know,
yeah.
I'm sure Skylar would talk to you.
Oh,
And Mike, let
absolutely.
me let me just share a special thing with you,
Mm-hmm.
because I just need to get this off of my chest if it's all right with you. So back some time ago, I lost my brother to HIV, and that was I saw him deteriorate, but he couldn't tell us because there was a certain amount of shame back during that time associated with it. But sometimes I wake up in the morning thinking about uh, that situation and what I could have done and what I should have done. But because I was all into myself and thinking about, what he was doing, and accusing him, I didn't really go to him to help. So I guess what I'm saying is during these times when people are struggling, I think that we need to take a step back and get out of ourselves and really get into to other people. I guess I'm saying to you that these situations with COVID or what have you, it is allowing us a time to have a phone call, is to tell somebody that you love them, because tomorrow is not promised. So it brings tears to my eyes when I think about my brother, but at the same time, I'm actually happy that there is some way that we are now figuring out ways to help people through the medicines or the technology that we have. But please, spend some time with your family. Take some extra time with the ones that you love, because tomorrow's not promised.
Mm-hmm. Let's get back to the principles as well. Some we don't have that much time here on the show to get into great detail, but let's have this like a little bit of a workshop here. So if someone says, look, I'm kind of sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. I need to get myself in shape. Maybe do some pretty simple things I can do during quarantine. If I'm at home, and in some cities, gyms are still not fully functioning. A lot of people are working out outside, which is smart. But what are some things if someone doesn't maybe have the means for a gym membership, or they're still maybe being safe and they don't want to go around other people at a gym? What are some things you recommend they can do to keep the thing, either start
Well,
or to keep fitness going?
you could just get up out of the bed and start doing some exercises, right? You could do some
Yeah,
squats, you could do some lunges, you could actually put your hands on the bed and do some push-ups. I mean,
yeah.
right where you are, do a little bit of jogging in place. The last thing I would say is do some stretching. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, stretching and learning how to breathe, deeply from the diaphragm. Those are, places to start. You could pick up some cans in your house if you want to, and sit in a chair and lift your legs up. I mean, you could use everything that's around you.
Mm-hmm.
Lift up something heavy, go do some laundry or something like that. pick up your children, that
Take
type
the
of
dog
thing.
for
Do
an
some
extra
dancing.
walk. The
Take
dog's
the
not going
dog
to tell
for a
you, oh,
long
we
walk.
already went for a walk today. I don't want to go again, right?
Go again. Take them again.
Dog's not going to say, no, we did this already, right?
Well, you'll find out that sometimes they have some minds that you wouldn't believe. They'll sit down on you and say, well, I already did a walk. Why don't you just go ahead without me? And maybe you should.
Yeah. I want the house
Does
to
that make
myself. You go walk yourself, right?
Mm.
Man, that's great though. You're right. Like the things that are around us, literally, we could use our own body weight doing the push-up mentality, or just some things that are naturally around the house for some light lifting that we could do, and go for a jog, go for a run. I love it.
You'd be surprised if you just do body weight exercises, right? If you take your time and do body weight exercises, if you move your arms or swing your body around, depending on what stage you're in, right? If you are deconditioned and you want to make sure you take care of yourself, I don't want to say to people, just jump up and start doing some stuff, but if you just move your arms around, if you move your head, if you move your legs, over a period of time, you'll feel better. And then you can get out of a chair. Maybe you can pick up something heavy, maybe a piece of furniture, move a piece of furniture. Those kinds of things. Push something, pull something. Those are the activities, right? So don't be limited by going to the gym or membership. There are any number of things. I'll be glad to share with people if they want to reach out to me. What are some of those activities other than what I talked about that they can do if they're stuck where they are?
Yeah. Sometimes people just need a little bit of an outline to follow, right?
Be glad to.
So talking about that, what's a new skill or positive takeaway that you have from the quarantine?
Well, you better start understanding what's happening with the technology. I mean, it's moving so fast. It's coming to us fast and furious. And if you miss the bubble with the technology, if you are not aware that AI is going to do away with some of the actual jobs and positions that we have, man, you better start paying attention, because if you go into anywhere, a grocery store, anywhere, you'll see that they have these machines that can ring up your goods and services. Almost they can talk to you like people.
Yeah.
And we know that we can hack the human, right? The human mind. We know that algorithms can almost put you in a place. If you want to be sad, you go to a computer or go somewhere and say, I want sad music. And it says, well, this is your favorite sad music right here. I want to be happy. They'll give you happy stuff. So prepare for the future. Don't sit back and wait for it to come to you. You got some people right now who have lost positions, and they didn't pivot when they saw it. So that's a takeaway. Get up and do something. Don't wait for it to come to you.
Yeah. If someone does have downtime, I'm just, again, what Nate just said is spot on. Like, if you do have extra time is an amazing thing that a lot of us do not have. So whatever you could do with it, it's like a blank canvas. So if you did lose your job during this horrible situation, that's terrible. But laying down on the ground for a long time complaining about it, opposed to coming up and just saying, what can I use my skills, my traits, my X amount of experience, and go push into either the workforce or create something of my own. And that's the people who get crafty and adjust quickly are typically who come out ahead, because the waves are going to come at you in different ways. But if you're creative in how you adjust to it, like a sailor who adjusts their sails, they're always moving forward, opposed to getting hit, knocked down, and got to start back from scratch again. So I appreciate you sharing that, because you're right. I mean, this whole pandemic is horrible, but let's control what's in our control. And that's what you're saying. Take the technology, do good with it. We talked about you being a big influence, and you got great books out, and you've been on many, stages and the podcast. Who are some people that you enjoy to tune into for your personal inspiration?
Oh my God, boy! It just gets deeper and deeper. The more I have time, you would be one of them. That and let me say that because I've looked at what you're doing, and I said to you earlier that I'm encouraged by the work that you're doing. I saw just any number of interviews that you've done. But one of my favorite people, and I know everybody knows this guy, David Goggins, man, you're talking about a
Yeah.
guy that is a beast, right? But then I got some local people that I borrow from as well. I go to a boxing gym, a guy named Mickey Demos. Mickey we're there at 6 o'clock in the morning, and Mickey is right there giving us the activity. He makes us work. He challenges our body like never before. I'm a big Les Brown fan. I love
I love
Les
Les
Brown.
Brown too. Yeah.
I mean, Bob Proctor. The list just goes on and on and on. Man, I don't want to spend, the rest of our time talking about, but anybody who, Robert Sharma as an example, anybody who has given me some food for thought and feeding my mind at different levels. I mean, I am just turned on. Damon Dash would be one. Tony Robbins. I mean, all of these people. I mean, and then just I told you about Skylar. Skylar is one of my heroes. I mean, she wrote. So I hope that gives you a list. But I mean, I can go on and on about.
No, that does. I mean, it just goes to show that, you're doing this stuff on a personal level. You're doing this stuff on a professional level, educating people. But the teacher is also the student, right? So for you to be able to deliver this impactful information to someone in a fitness manner, in a mindset manner, you're always learning, developing, and growing. If you're teaching the same thing in 2020 that you were teaching in 1985, come on now, right? So the fact is, you just shared that you're constantly in development with your own personal growth, and that's what makes you, able to learn and grow. And if someone comes to you for the first time tomorrow, you're up to speed on what's going on in the world. So that means you're tuned in and tapped in, which is great. Now here's a little bit of a curveball. I don't mean for this to be a curveball, but I want you to think about it. So you don't have to react in 1 second. But when all is said and done, right? If we can look back on everything you've done, and you can only be known for one thing, what would it be?
Thank you so much. That's an interesting question. It's a beautiful question. What would I want to be known for?
Yeah.
So I would have to go back and tell you that I want to be known for the fact that I was looking for ways to help other people be the best that they could be. Because it is in my spirit. I don't know how to explain that to you. It's what I call the calling. And so somebody asked me about why do I do this fitness thing? Because I found my why. And so what I'm saying is, for me, the fitness vehicle, health, wellness, and fitness is the vehicle. But I believe that throughout my career, if you take a look at it, I work Parks and Recreation. I've been a community organizer. I've worked with youth all over. It is to me the highest calling that anybody could have, that you get a chance to help other people, and out of that you get a chance to help yourself, because when you develop those talent, skills, and abilities, the people business will take you many places. And I've been many places, and I've been blessed by a number of people. I'm standing on the shoulders of a number of people. When you look at Nate Wilkins, you're looking at hundreds of people who have poured into my soul. You got me going there. Let me quit.
I want to say this. One of the most beautiful things I think I've ever thoughts that have ever come into my mind are right here. I want to get this recorded here. One of the most beautiful things I can ever experience, or anybody can experience, is when somebody, through their personal challenges, not to overuse the word adversity, but your test, right? You're taking a test and turning it into a testimony. And here you are now helping out kids and youth and people that are troubled, and people who are their health needs improvement, and you're helping these people out because you're able to help on a deeper level because of your challenges. So your testimony comes from all the tests that you've had over your life. And here's a man who's helping these people out, these kids out, and a lot of times it is youth that you're working with. And you are getting also fulfillment from it because you know the personal things that they're dealing with, you've dealt with yourself. And now you got hundreds of people that are better off because of the one man that stands in front of us right here. And that that is super inspiring. I mean, Nate, that's your story right there.
Hey, listen, I am just so lucky to one to meet you, to meet other people who want to hear what I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much time we got left, but here's what I would share with you. And it goes like this: when you get what you want in your struggle for self, and the world's made you king and queen for a day, go to the mirror, look at yourself, and see what the mirror has to say. For it isn't your father, mother, brother, or sister who in life judgment upon you must pass. But the person whose verdict counts most in your life is the one staring back in the glass. You may fool the world over down through the pathways of life and get pats on the back as you pass, but your most fondest rewards will be heartaches and tears if you cheated the person in the glass. I just don't want to cheat me. I want to do what's in me.
That's beautiful, man. Yeah, I had, I think of another guest I had on too. Dion that I had on, Dion Jensen, and like just amazing, like, how so many people struggle with what they see in the mirror, right? Because we have all these, these notions now what we're supposed to look like, and we're comparing, and we're on this thing, and we see someone else who's got six pack, and we're just working on getting, out of bed on time so we can do some jumping jacks, and like there's this comparison game. But the only person we really need to be thinking about is who that person is in the mirror. And then how do we fall in love with that person? And so much so that we want to continue to put great things in here, great things in here. And then once we feel that energy, give it out. There's no good
Absolutely.
if we just keep it in here. You could be the most fit, greatest person in the world. If you just keep it right here and the world needs you, that's a sin to me. So you're out here working on yourself and then just sharing it out to the world, which is why I wanted you on the show. And that's why we got Nate Wilkins is here on Mic'd Up because of that reason. So that saying you just said, that's a mic drop moment right there.
Hey man, thank you so much. I've been practicing that. I saved that up for your show.
I'm gonna say you have to practice it. You nailed it. I mean, do you spend the mornings and evenings in a state of kind of a meditation and some gratitude?
Yeah, I'm up at around 4:30. I walk my dogs, and that is the time when you talk about meditation and gratitude. There's something about that hour, that time that you're walking outside and you see whatever you see. The darkness, but at the same time, you may see one other person pass you by, and the wind may be blowing, and you look at the sky, and so that is sort of the meditation or grateful time that I spend, and I try to get that done every day. But I also have some meditation music that I listen to. I try to steal away and find some time to be creative and just time by myself to be creative. So I hope that's what you're talking about. Yeah,
Exactly.
because with all of the noise around, all of the social media, all of the television and what have you, it's hard to get to yourself and be creative if you don't turn some of that stuff off. So I try to find some time, at least 3, 4, 5 hours a week, just in meditation and time for Nate.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm going to be vulnerable myself and share that, and I've even posted on social media. I was riding my bike in the morning, 5:00 in the morning every morning, and I stopped doing it. I had an issue with the back tire, and I kind of stupidly didn't get it fixed, and I'm not out there at 5 in the morning, so I'm kicking myself. But I know what you're talking about, where it's like it's still dark, like the sun hasn't even come up yet, but it doesn't seem like you're in like a alternate universe, like everyone's sleeping but you're being productive, like you feel you're in your walk, you're with your dogs, and it's almost like everything's at a standstill and you can just be like really clear in your head because once everyone's awake, your phone's going off, your emails are going off, we're doing Zoom calls all day long for 12 hours. But like when you're up that hour, 4:30, it's like the world's at a standstill and you can just think. Your dogs are you're your hero to your dog, so they're happy to be with you. That's an amazing reminder that it's important to go get some time with the world when it is peaceful. And the only way you do it is when everyone's still sleeping. Because if you're out there in the middle of the day, there's traffic, people your neighbor wants to stop and chat your ear off, which is cool. Happy to do it. But that's not what you're looking for when you're trying to get some you time, some Nate time.
Some peace. You know, the earth has something to say when you're by yourself.
Yes,
Can you smell? And because we've had a chance to let the earth breathe, can you smell? And can you see with the beauty that's around you? I mean, so first of all, I'm a nature person because of my parks and recreation background, but I'm also a person who wants to find out more about who I am. So that's why I, told you about, the matrix, because you said it, maybe you read in my mind that we're in some kind of I think we're in some kind of a matrix. Yeah. And so we're walking into what is the new life, right? What is the new normal? And so we're not going to get necessarily back what we have, but we can sure deal with what we have right now.
Yeah. A couple more here before we wrap up. So one message to leave our audience inspired to be brave and bold in pursuit of their dreams.
Right. One message, huh? You want to cut that down to one message?
Yeah. So someone's like, they have an idea right now. They're on the fence. They're not quite sure how they're going to get started, when to get started. If you just can talk to that person and say this.
Get started. Get started right there. Do something. Do something, even if it's wrong. Because you can always fix that. But if you don't do anything, you know what you get, right? So do something. Either grab a pen and write it down. And then what is the next step? And what is the next thing? And what is the next thing? Just keep on going. And don't look at failure as failure. Look at it as you've learned something, right? Failure and success are the same thing. I've had some successes and I've had some failures. What I found out in all of those things, I'm happy at one time when I've had the success, but that's gone away. And I'm sad, but something about happiness comes around and it gives me some success. So you got to deal with those two imposters the same way, but keep on stepping. Because tomorrow, here's what I sit at a stoplight, right? And I wait for the stoplight to change, and it seems like it's never going to change, but it does. So I guess what I'm saying is that things can change, and you don't even know when it's going to change. You just have to believe that it's going to change, because you're not in charge of anything. You're not in charge of the universe. You can't change one thing. You think you can, but you can't. It's not your job. You get that assignment.
Well, you're not going to turn anything into a closer version of perfection without starting at some point, like you said. So I wrote it down here. Do something, even if it's wrong, you can fix it. You can change it. Like the car doesn't move down the road if someone didn't get the idea of putting four wheels on a cart and pushing it and seeing what the hell happened. Once that thing started to move, then they can turn it into a better version of itself. If it's just sitting there on a sheet of paper and you got a rectangle with four circles drawn on it, that's not really a car quite yet. You got to go do it.
That's right.
I think
and there's some other people. There's some other people that you could tap into that says, hey, maybe you need to put some wheels on that car. Maybe you need to put a motor. So once you get it out there, somebody the universe will bring things to you.
I do agree with that. You mentioned you're a fan of Bob Proctor, man. The law of attraction. What an amazing. It's not even a concept. It's a real thing. Like, I've asked the universe for things, but not just in a selfish way, in a serving way. Like, hey, I just need a little bit more things here to make this thing happen. And the more I think about it, the more I meditate on it, the more I do my action items to make it come true, it comes true. Things start to mend themselves, because the universe does want to help us out. It just needs to know what we're asking. Like, if you're too general, right, it doesn't know what to do with that. But if you're very specific about what you're doing and how you need, it's like, look, I'm pretty useless in the kitchen, but I know if I would needed to bake a cake, I need the right ingredients to do it. If I just had someone for some ingredients and random food, that's not going to make the cake come out right. So you got to be very specific about what you're looking for.
That's right.
Final thing right here. Okay. I like to say 3. You could do more or less, but 3 things. Am I saying you probably saw this now by now? Be great and be grateful. This word right here. I love to live in gratitude. What are 3 things that you're most grateful for?
I'm grateful that I have a chance to wake up every morning and get a new opportunity, because every day is different. I might look at it as the same thing, but it's not. And I get another opportunity to do something with what I have. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for the young people I've been able to touch in my life. But most of all, I'm grateful for I'm grateful for the breath that I have, for the life that I've been given. Maybe some challenges in there, but for the most part, I'm alive. I'm living, and I can say to anybody that, man, it's been an interesting ride, and I don't know what's going to happen down the road, but I'm waiting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah. I love it, man. This interview was so much fun for me because it was a breath of fresh air. We had a kind of a conversation about a month ago, because I ended up getting so backed up on episodes, which is an exciting problem to have. But because there was like a month gap time from our first conversation, and it wasn't a Zoom call, it was just a traditional phone call, to now having it all filled in with details and your story being told. I'm so excited that we had this opportunity for a conversation. And I'll just end with this real quick. The reason that I started this show was because I was having great conversations like this, but mostly in my hometown of Buffalo for coffee. I would meet with someone. I'd just be like, tell me about yourself. Like, what makes you do, why do you do what you do? To learn a little bit about their product or service or what they're all about. And then we'd get into this like deeper conversation. And after an hour, we would both go our separate ways. And I'd feel like, man, it's kind of a shame that just ends right here. Like, we leave and that moment's over. So the idea of the podcast is now I can open this up internationally. I've actually had a guest on from New Zealand, and someone, a friend of mine from Canada, and, many people sprinkled throughout the United States. So like, the platform doesn't have to happen in a coffee shop anymore. It can happen anywhere in the world. We can be in 2 different places. We can record this interview. And the people on the other end of the call, now I'm actually seeking them out because of what they bring to the table to have a fantastic hour-long conversation that I benefit from. And then anybody who's listening in is going to do the same thing. So I just wanted to make sure you knew why this is so important to me. And I just want to really speak about gratitude, man. Just grateful to have you here sharing your story. Any last words you want to get out before we go our 2 separate ways? And again, thank you for being here.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that I didn't know you before we had our initial conversation. I got a good feeling from the conversation. You told me you would get back to me. You did what you said you were going to do. And so these are the kind of people that I'm looking to spend some time with, people who care about people. So you are one of those people. I just want, and again, you didn't pay me to say this. I know you for 2 interviews. You are a stand-up kind of guy. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. It really does. Guys, you can check him out again. His workout is agelessworkout.com, on Instagram, Ageless Workout Tribe. And also, if you want to connect with him on a business level, Nathaniel O. Wilkins, which is NOW, because you want to act now. So if you guys looking to do something with your talents, do it right now. Nathaniel O. Wilkins, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, man.
I love you guys, and thank you so much for tuning in. Check out more show notes and information on each episode at mikeduppodcast.com, MIKED uppodcast.com. We're powered by Social Chameleon. You guys know what to do. Be great and be grateful.